Hey guys, what is up? It's the RXC coach here, and I'm coming to you from a car. I am waiting for my partner to come back from work. I'm picking her up. We've got a little bit of time to kill, and today I wanted to rant a little bit about something that I think maybe would be helpful to you, right? So look, if you're following this page, if you're following this YouTube channel, whatever it is, I just want to bring value to you. I just want to try and maybe share ideas that I think are helpful, things that have helped me. And I just want to, I just want it to be a resource for you. So if you have questions, if you have anything that you feel like that I could help you with, I want to try and help as much as I can. So if you have questions and things like that, please ask them below, please leave a comment, and I'll try and get back to it. So I saw a really awesome quote today on Facebook, and it had to do with, how would you say, it had to do with getting, sorry, I just got distracted there. It had to do with, if you had 9 hours to cut a tree, or 8 hours to cut a tree, it's a really old saying. The person saying, I'm really not doing good today. So if you had 9 hours to cut a tree, the quote goes and says, I'd spend 6 of my hours sharpening the axe. So this is a really cool quote. I saw it on a friend's Facebook, and it just reminded me of preparation and of putting the work you do in life and training and your fitness and your health and fitness goals like in the right areas, right? So you could spend all of your time, I don't know, reading up about nutrition, right? Like you could buy all the books, you could spend all your time like training at the gym, right? Like you could be on a treadmill walking all day long, right? And that's fine, and that's probably really good for a lot of people. But you know, sometimes your time would be better spent if let's say your goal is to lose weight, right? If your goal is to lose weight, like you should spend time training, like 100%. But you need to spend more of your time like on nutrition and on eating well and on being prepared and, you know, meal prep and things like that. So that's like a really good example of if you were to maximize your time and use it to the best of your ability, it would be in your best interest to make sure to do that. A different example would be if you wanted to really get strong and you spend all your time, I don't know, let's say you only have an hour to train every day and you spend 45 of those minutes warming up, right? Like you only spend 15 minutes lifting. You should like spend less time warming up and more time lifting. Like the amount of weight you lift in a session is going to be indicative to the results you get from that. This is putting aside things like being physically prepared to warming up. This is just, I see people put a lot of effort in all the wrong places. A lot of people put a lot of effort into, like in my world, right? So most of the people that I see are in the CrossFit space, and people love like doing like foam rolling and they love doing all these like mobility drills, and that's fine, that's good. Like there's a place and a time for those things. But like a lot of people who are really tight on their legs, like just don't spend a lot of time like squatting like really low a lot of the time, or don't do activities that would make them be in a position to not need to stretch and mobilize. So like they would be better spent doing that, or maybe not spending all this time mobilizing things that are never going to be mobilized, right? Because they're too stuck, or they're just like their body's just never going to change. And they would be better suited to maybe like if you have really tight like pecs and shoulders, like maybe not like being hunched over all day, rather than like sitting there and trying to open up your chest. Like if you're going to be hunched over all day, like you're always going to have a tight chest. So just putting the right amount of effort in the right amount of place. And this can apply to life. Like I was having this conversation with someone about macro versus micro stuff, and how sometimes we put heaps of our energy into micro stuff, right? Like what someone said, what one person thinks of you, I don't know, like just really small stuff, right? And like in the big picture of life, like it's the macro stuff that wins and that matters most, right? Like we're never gonna please everyone. We're never gonna, like the world isn't always gonna love us. Like there's so many things, right, that we don't have control over, right? Like there's no point focusing on the micro stuff but we can control the macro stuff. And you get a bang for your buck if you put in the right amount of effort in the right place to get the right return, rather than putting all the amount of effort in the wrong place and getting the wrong return. And to cap this off, like there's there's a really awesome person that you should go check out. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk. And you know, I've been following for years, and I think he's awesome, and he talks about self-awareness, and it is like the coolest thing, because like you have something that you might, like, let's say you want to get really fit, right? Like you should have the self-awareness to realize, like, what's the one thing that you can do that's actually going to get you really fit. So heaps of people don't love running, and they try and make themselves love running, when really, like, maybe they should like stick to a form of cardio that they enjoy, that maybe they'll do more, and then they'll excel at that because they happen to have a natural like ability at it, and then they get really good at this thing, and then once they do lose the weight and they do get fitter, then they can take up the running, and maybe it'll be easier by that stage, and then they'll be better at it. Having a good amount of self-awareness to realize, like, hey, if you're good at something, like, go all in and make the most you can out of that, rather than trying to make yourself good at things that maybe you're not so good at, right? And again, I don't want you to take that the wrong way. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and get good at things that you're not good at. Like, not at all. Like, it's just a different conversation. Today, I want you to think about, like, how could you best spend any amount of effort at any given time to get the most amount of return you can. So if you're tight on time, if you have a goal and you want to do something, and you want to be somewhere, and you want to be somebody, or you want to look like somebody, whatever it is you want to do on your health and fitness goals or life goals, right? Like, figure out how you can maximize your potential, and figure out that if you only had 9 hours to cut a tree, you would probably be best spending 6 of those hours sharpening your axe before you cut the tree, rather than just trying to cut the tree. Hope this helps, guys. Take care and peace.